So, you catch me this morning lying down. Why? Well, I don't know if you can see that, but I've managed to break my toe. So, did that yesterday afternoon. It's not my first time, but it is, I think, the first time I broke that toe. Normally it's been little toe on the right foot, but I don't break the toe on the right foot anymore. It seems to have healed fairly strong. When you break bones, they tend to come back quite strong, and that one doesn't tend to break anymore. But obviously the left one's feeling a little bit left out. So yeah, I managed to catch it on the terrace as I was walking, and just snapped it round. I had a lovely little sound like a twig. Anyway, let's hobble around. Bear with. As you can see, and here, work is starting on the terrace. So some of you may know, some of you may not. Before we moved into the property, when the property was built, they built it with a roof terrace, according to our requirements, obviously. And before we moved in, we noticed that it was leaking. So we sort of reported it, not thinking it was going to be a big deal. The foreman came round and went, yeah, basically that's a load of rubbish, that's no good, not happy with how this has been done and that's been done. So they took the decision, and the owner of the company as well, the developer, took the decision to rip it up. Right there, I won't say right there, right then, but, right there, right then, the decision was made. It's being taken apart. Which, you can have feelings about that, but I think, we were just grateful that they were taking it seriously and dealing with it. There was no quibbles, no sort of fuss. It just needed to be done properly. So initially they ripped up a lot of the terrace to sort of investigate and have a look, and once they'd done that, that was it, the decision. No, the whole lot's coming off. This isn't savable, everything's coming off. So they took the whole lot off, which took a long time, obviously. It's a big terrace. It's 12 metres long, 4 metres wide, just on this side. And then we've got across the back of the house as well, which, so it's a significant terrace. It took a long time, a lot of mess, a lot of inconvenience. But, it is what it is, and we weren't living in a house. So it wasn't too much for a problem. Fast forward a year, we are living in the house. It's our home, and the terrace is leaking. And true to form, they've come round. Obviously, I can't believe that it's leaking again. But they've looked at it, and it looks like possibly one of the components that was used in its construction has failed. That component being the adhesive, which I'm sure you can imagine doesn't just mean it's leaking in one little spot and can have a little spot repair. It means that effectively it looks like the whole lot's got to come off again. So what they're doing at this moment in time is initially investigative. They're ripping up all the way around the outside of it and sort of going down deep to see exactly where the problem lies, and then make a final decision on whether it can be the top 2 layers removed, or whether they just need to go back right away to the beginning and start again. I've just noticed, sorry, I'll get distracted, but I've just noticed why I haven't got a lot of plums on the plum tree. I don't know if you'll be able to see. You will when I hobble up there. Yeah, I can see you, you little monster. There he is. Yeah, cute as a button, I know. Yeah. Till he's beating you on the head at 3 o'clock in the morning with his paw, meowing like mad. Well, it sounds more like a scream than a meow. Thanks, cat. Appreciated that. Sleep's overrated, isn't it? Yeah. So he's going to stay around Daddy because he don't know what's going on. Come on. Yeah, so here they are. There's lots of talk this morning. A couple of supervisors coming around, making sure that things are done the way they want it done. And yeah, we're back into reconstruction. Can't call it construction, it's reconstruction. So it kind of feels like the house is going to be a building site again. Plus, obviously at the moment we've got the sauna build underway, but luckily it's kind of overlapped, so we're quite far along with the sauna. Looking for my glasses. I think my foot might be quite sore by the end of the day. Hi wife, can you pass me the reading glasses please? Thank you.
Oh honey, I felt...
Honey, you felt. I'm sure you did. Do you want to tell me later, honey, as I'm currently live? Let's have a look. Who's in the house? Uncle V, sweet place. Thank you. Yeah, we love it. It's to our spec, complete with leaking terrace. Please say, Gromit, I found the cheese. Gromit, I found the cheese. Oh, Gromit. What was the... what did he used to say? Wallace and Gromit. Wensleydale. Yeah, I can't really do the Yorkshire accent, I'm afraid. Yorkshire tea, lad. If you've never been to the UK, you probably won't understand, but it's a country of different accents, and some of us don't understand each other. That's how broad the accents are. Hello to my Scottish family. So yeah, we're doing the sauna at the same time, but as you can see from the sneak preview, that's sort of the main construction part of that is done. Obviously got to now put ceilings in, lights, sauna, all the woodwork, showers, etc, etc. So it's a long way from finished, but I would say all the messy stuff is done. So that's one saving grace, I suppose. And I've managed to clear out the garage-ish again and get the car back in, which out here when it's very hot is a blessing, because you can get the car in the shade and everything doesn't cook. So, hope I satisfied your Gromit curiosity. Oh dear. Chris was conquered by a cat and he invites more into his house. It's a true story. Furby Slayer, yeah, it is absolutely true. I was a dog person, was not a cat person at all. Had no interest in pussycats, really. Wife was a cat person. She had cats when I met her here in Russia. She had a cat that was being looked after because she was living in England, and unfortunately the cat died. And I've never seen anybody so distraught. I mean, literally broken. Obviously, when she found out the news, it was by telephone, and I'll be honest, I thought her daughter had died. I just thought, this is major, because she couldn't even get her words out. She was so distraught. And I've got to be honest, when I found out it was a cat, I kind of was relieved. I just went, oh, the cat. I don't want to say, oh, thank God, just a bloody cat, but you know what I mean? In the fact that it could have been a person, it was quite a relief. I saw how absolutely upset my wife was, and I don't like seeing my wife upset. So after 3 months of seeing her crying every day, I thought, do you know what? We're in the UK. We're going to stay in the UK. Let's see if I can get her a cat. And the stars aligned. Friends of mine had 2 Bengals, one of which was challenging. So I think with Bengals you get one and then you get another one, and sometimes they don't get on, and I think that was the case. So they were looking to rehome their Bengal. And Bengals in the UK cost a lot of money. In Russia, cats are free. But in the UK, people charge extortionate amounts of money for them. But we were very fortunate. We didn't pay a fortune for Rosie, and brought her home, and the world was good. So we had a cat, and I kind of warmed to having a cat. When we moved to Russia, we brought Rosie with us. And then when we got here, we added a little black monster a few months ago. Might even be a year ago now. Rios. And a couple of weeks ago, we added this one. Now, this is an Egyptian Mal, and one of the characteristics is they've got like an M on their head, and they've got like Cleopatra eyeliner. They've got lines coming off the side of their eyes. They're also apparently the fastest domestic cat, and I can vouch for the fact that the little bugger is quick. The other thing they're known for is eating. And I don't know where it puts it. It must have hollow legs, hollow ears, hollow tail, because it doesn't stop. In fact, it falls asleep quite regularly in the food bowl. Yeah, bless it. So God knows what size it's going to be. It's apparently 3 months old. Again, a bit of a rescue cat. Rios was a rescue cat. He was only 2 weeks old when we got him, because Mum had just disappeared. You know, maybe got run over, maybe gone off and died somewhere. But Rios was 2 weeks old, so I literally hand raised Rios. You know, feeding him every 2 hours throughout the night with a little test tube thing, you know, pipette thing, with baby formula. So yeah, quite attached to Rios. And then yeah, this one was a stray wandering around, and the wife went to the market for potatoes and came home with a cat. So here we are. So yes, I've turned into a cat person, and Chris was conquered by cat. He invites more in his house. He doesn't invite more into his house. Just kind of doesn't get a lot of choice in the matter. And you know what they say? When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Layla Storm, beautiful garden. Thank you. It's a work in progress. Despite our progress starting in 2021, it's still a work in progress. I'm going to have to put my shoes on, or attempt to put my shoes on. My poor little pinky. Go wandering, because I think that noise is going to irritate everyone. But yeah, for the new viewers who haven't seen the garden, I'm going to show you my peach tree. And I'm laughing because my existing viewers are going to look at this and go, oh, not the bloody peach tree again. Here it is. So I'm usually eating about 2 a day off of this at the moment as an average. Come out, give them a little squeeze, see which one I fancy, which one feels nice and soft and juicy. And then in my belly he goes. Ooh, that one might be a culprit. Anyhow, I'm talking to you guys, not looking at peaches at the moment. It's not peach time, but it will be. Sorry, beautiful garden, thank you. We have done a lot to this place. We've built it from the ground up. So we bought this house, or rather we bought this plot of land, and it was just massively overgrown mess, with 4 bits of wood hammered in the ground to show the size of the plot. I will upload some early pictures and video at some point when I get round to it. So we designed the house to how we wanted it. You know, it originally would have been a 4-bedroom house. We've turned it into a 3-bedroom house just to make all the rooms bigger, and then changed everything. You know, added a garage, added roof terraces, added triple folding doors on the back, added a sauna and an outdoor shower room, changed the layout completely internally. Please look at my videos, see the tour of the house, and you'll see what it's like inside, rather than me boring you with it now. And yeah, it's a work in progress, and it's going to be a work in progress, I think, for quite a considerable time. Norsa guy, hi, I'm here too. Hi, morning. Tony listening in, regular. Hi Tony, good to see you. Beautiful place, thank you. My oldest son used to live that show. Now he's 30. Sorry Layla, it's either me that's not read that correctly or me that's not read that correctly. My oldest son used to live that show. Love that show. Love that show. Ah, the Wallace and Gromit. Yep, probably getting that reference now. A deep Scotch accent is unintelligible. Yeah, I have a friend that lives in Keith in Scotland, and I have to tune in. I usually like to video call him when I speak to him, because speaking to him on the phone I can't see his lips move, and I have to kind of combine the two, because right up there in the snow-covered top of the UK, there is very, very strong dialect, and certainly my friend, you know, they come out with stuff. Dinny can. What if you're Scottish, you'll understand that. But the first time I heard it, I had not a clue. Not a clue. But yeah, many twists in the language up there in Scotland, and across all of the UK, to be fair. Let's get in the shade so I can read the comments. To be fair, the new one is hideously cute. Yeah. Was a cat in your pool? Had a frog in the pool yesterday. He was dead. So I can't say he was floating in the pool, because he was on the bottom. And that's what happens when they jump in the saltwater pool. You'd think they'd know. Jump on the pool cover, you must be able to tell by sticking your nose in whether it's salt water or not. No. It's so early, still on first coffee. I haven't had any coffee. Tony, what are you doing? You're killing me, man. Listen, Gromit. Yeah. I'm in love. Yeah, I kind of worked it. I'm very slow. You'll have to bear with me. Thank you for the hi, Chris. Do I remember correctly that you bought your house whilst in the UK? How easy was that? Well, yeah, we bought the land. We didn't buy the house, because we built the house literally out of the ground. How easy was it? It's difficult to say. It was the first time we've done it. So, you know, some people might think that the process was an absolute nightmare, and other people might say it was an absolute breeze. I think it was somewhere between the two. There were times when it was challenging, but we were building it from the UK completely, so we never saw this house being built, other than videos that were being sent. So the first time we actually saw the house was when we came back to Russia. You know, we left and there were 4 pieces of wood hammered in the ground on a rough piece of land, and we came back to see this. So yeah, it was an emotional day for me, for sure, you know, realising the dream. But that was just the start. There was, out here in Russia, you buy property or you build property, and usually if you're going from a developer, it's what they call in the grey, so no interior. Now in the UK, no interior just means no carpets, no curtains, that kind of stuff. Here, what it means is nothing inside the house other than concrete blocks. No lights, no electrics, no bathrooms, no kitchens, nothing, zero, no doors, not a thing, just concrete block. So yeah, you have an outside which looks great, windows and everything, but nothing on the inside. So the reason they do that is you can obviously pick exactly how you want the property to be and change it around. And it's very common out here to buy a property, you know, second-hand property, if you want to call it that, pre-loved, pre-owned, and actually not have a kitchen. You know, the people will sell the house and they'll take the kitchen out. That's a very common thing, whereas in the UK that's unheard of. You know, you buy a property and it's finished. I much prefer the Russian way. One, the properties are cheaper because they're not finished internally, and you're not paying over the odds for jacked up prices. Two, it means you aren't restricted by the particular developer as to what their choice of interior is. Although they give you a catalogue and say, oh, you can have this colour and you can have this choice of kitchens and all that, you're still limited. Whereas if you buy a blank canvas, there is no limitation other than your own imagination and your budget. So I much prefer the Russian way, to be fair. I think it's a much better idea. And it also means that you can do the interior in stages, as and when. And if you want an example of that, have a look at Sam's Russian Adventures. Sam has got a huge house that he started building many years ago. He's been in Russia a long time. And it is in the grey at the moment. The outside is, I'd say, nearly watertight. He's having the windows put in at the moment. That's part of his project. The windows are being measured up, designed and installed, and that is a serious undertaking. And if you look at his property, you'll understand why. It's a huge property and it's going to be amazing. So yeah, it gives people like Sam the opportunity to design the inside exactly how they want, pay for what bit they want when they want. It's just a much more flexible way, and it gives you a lot more flexibility with your budget. So I think it's a great idea. Not everybody will like it. It depends if you can be bothered or not. Morning, Alex. Sorry. A lawn for cricket. Right. So this was the wife's mentality. I don't know if it's correct. I think I've been scammed by my Russian wife. Check out the video. She very early on wanted us to level the back garden because it was mountainous rubbish everywhere. So something needed to be done with it. It needed landscaping in some description. I was up for green concrete. Apparently that was a no. But I thought it was a good idea. Haven't got to mow the grass, have you? But no, wasn't allowed green concrete. I'm joking. So we had grass because the wife said no maintenance. What she meant was no maintenance for her. What it's actually meant is, as a maximum of 10 days out here, I have to cut the grass, and that is a maximum. Realistically, it's 7 days because the stuff grows so quick, ridiculous. There is a saying, if you put a stick in the ground out here, it grows, and I think that's accurate. I don't think that's a made-up saying at all. Everything seems to grow, apart from that conifer up there. 1, 2, dead. I know it's dead. I'm certain it's dead, but we'll leave it in the ground just to make sure it's definitely dead, because there have been many things along here that we have believed were dead. That thing, for a start, that was a twig, dead, dormant, defunct. Let's dig it up, throw it away. Wife said no, it'll probably come back, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's dead. There it is. And there have been lots of other things like that. That one wasn't looking too healthy a little while ago, and now it's flourishing. So yeah, and it's green stuff to me. I have no clue about it anyway. I don't know what it does. We added some walnut things yesterday, the wife did. I've had a long game battle with a walnut tree because they're hard as nails, and it pretty much defeated us. Even the chainsaw gave up the ghost 2 or 3 times. So it's ended up in slices finally, nearly all of it. Still got the root ball and a couple of other bits left, but the wife has made some stepping stones for a giant, clearly. So they're about a metre and a half apart. Maybe she's got ideas of replacing husband somebody bigger. How long ago did you buy that place? A lot of work has been done since then. Yeah, so I first had the crazy idea in October 2021, where after look at some of my videos, you will understand the process, but we got to a point where I was like, yep, we're doing this. And the wife was, are you sure? Because we were looking to buy a property in the UK. We were, at the time, house hunting in the UK. Because that's where we were living. So we came here on holiday, and week 3, buying a house. So yeah, we signed the paperwork in October 2021. I think work began, well, fairly soon after. They started levelling the ground, bulldozering it, you know, pegging it out, digging for foundations, etc, etc. So it's been a long process. We've been living in it since December of last year. And everything has been done since then. Concrete, we've had 300 plus square meters of what they call printed concrete all the way around the house. The swimming pool, obviously, the stairs, the top terrace. Stairs were fun. Everybody wanted to put the stairs down here, right the way down the side of the garage, in just one long run, which I didn't want. I wanted them on the corner, but nobody could see that. They all said it won't fit when they measured it, but when I measured it, it would fit. So anyhow, I won't bore you with that. But 3 separate guys came round. First 2 said can't be done. The third one started off on that view. No, it needs to go up the side. And I started showing him my drawings of the staircase, and he got it. And he said, oh yeah, yep, no, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that. And there's the result. We've got the staircase that we wanted. So yeah, it's been a long process, but like I say, we've been in since December of last year. Yes, yeah, I don't know if I'm a few minutes behind you through being an idiot or just the stream. I don't know if you guys are actually watching the stream behind me. But yeah, it's not totally in sync. That's just the way YouTube works. Autocorrect has me on lockdown all the time. Yeah, it's got me in lots of trouble, autocorrect has. No. I want to know where the tiles are going, I guess. We can add to the collection. So this is our rubbish side, where everything ends up. You can see the walnut tree there, look. Bloody thing. Will be defeated eventually. It's typical of home building. First owner gets to fix the issues and quirks. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Vencor, nice to see you in the chat. I've messaged you, mate, loads of times. I've emailed you, dropped messages. Never seem to get a response. Love to do a live with you. So Vencor, if you're unaware, lives in Sochi with his wife, I believe. I don't know much about the guy other than the videos that I've seen of his channel. But looks really interesting. So I'd love to get him on the stream and just sort of have a chat, find out who he is. So hi Vencor. Send me an email, theplasticrussian@gmail.com. I've heard from many sources that Windows jumped like 300% in Russia the last handful of years. Could well have been. I've no clue. They sure build different here than in the States. Yes, definitely. Yes, prices on materials doubles. Yep. Yeah, so there you go. Vencor's answered the questions for that. Obviously, we've noticed the price increases, definitely. Price increases in land. There's a lot of reasons for that in this area. I think it's been signed by Putin now, a new town just a little bit up the coast from where we are, which is, you know, if the speculation and the rumours are true, it's going to rival Dubai. So Russia is massively investing everywhere. There's construction everywhere. On the roads, the road systems are being, new systems are being built all the time. I watched a video yesterday of 94 kilometres of new motorway just been completed on Crimea. Everywhere around us there are new roads being built. The infrastructure is just being built out everywhere. So a lot of construction going on in every department. Green concrete, yeah. It would have been nice, wouldn't it? I mean, from a distance, I know. But, you know, if you squinted a little bit, green concrete would have been all right. I wouldn't have had to have cut the bloody stuff. There we go. Apparently that was a foolish idea. Say hi, Immy and Scarlett. Hi, Immy and Scarlett. How easy is that? Imogen Cork and Scarlett Cork. Not from Cork, are you? Where are you lot from? You know where I am. I'm in southern Russia. And for those of you that aren't aware of the geography, we are on the coast of the Black Sea. Well, you know, just inside, 10-15 minutes up the road. We don't want to live right in the resort town of Anapa because holiday season, it's full of bloody foreigners. God, yeah, they get everywhere. Yeah, we live just inside the coast on the Black Sea, across the water from Turkey. We are about 60 miles away from the Kerch Bridge, which I'm sure everybody has heard of because there are numerous attempts by some unpleasantries of trying to blow it up. But yeah, we're about 60 miles along the coast from there and about 300 kilometres up the coast from Sochi. It's a beautiful part of the world, lovely climate, absolutely wonderful. If you're a Brit, this climate is perfect, absolutely perfect. It's more akin to the south of France. Sam sent me here. Sam's a good boy. Thank you for coming. Hi, Imogen Core and Scarlet Core. Immy, stop it. Boys, get our bats out. England country ball. Yeah, so there's a saying, isn't there? You're either into balls or engines. Well, I'm engines. So my saying is no engine, no interest. I'm trying to avoid listening to that banging, hammering, chiseling, mechanical thing at some point. I think it's going to be unavoidable for a while. They're just taking the tiles up at the moment. It's going to be lovely when they start hammering out the concrete. Anyway, here's the inside of the house. Excuse the mess. This wasn't planned. I just thought I'd turn the live on because I'm sat there with my broken little toe, feeling sorry for myself. But obviously none of this was here. It's all designed by us. It's not a huge house, but it's plenty big enough for us. Staircase was custom designed. It's a one-off for us, again, here to fit the space because we changed everything. You know, the layout of the house is completely different. The observant among you might notice the track there. So, had somebody come round to put a curtain rail up and he managed to drill through the air conditioning pipe. Yeah. So, we're waiting for that to be fixed at the moment. Air conditioning, let's say. That's a lucky thing. So, tiled floors, which, you know, is very common out here. You know, coming from the UK and carpets, your first reaction is, oh, it's cold and it's hard and it's uncomfortable. Well, we don't sit on the floor, so the uncomfortable bit goes. The fact that it's cold is lovely in the summer because it helps keep the house cool. We have underfloor heating, so in the winter, this floor is lovely to walk around on. It's extremely easy to keep clean as opposed to carpets, which, you know, all sorts go on in the carpets, don't they? Especially if you've got animals. So I've completely changed my mind about tiled floors. Completely. I was completely dead set against it. You know, I was really saying to the wife, no, I want to have carpet, I want to have carpet. And she really didn't. And as is often the case, she won. So this is our guest bedroom, or as we call it, the dumping ground. And cat hotel. And this is where I usually sit to live stream with everything sat on top of there, sitting here looking at you lot. Right, let's catch up. Skeleton heads. Yeah, sorry, I'm not a ball sports kind of guy. I'm not built for that sort of activity. I like scuba diving, mainly because I sink well. I'm in America. Okay, Layla, whereabouts? Hi, I sub to you. Good, thank you. And like you like me. Well, that's nice, thank you. Since I don't support them. Okay, what, English cricket? Football? I'm not a football guy. I am, I think, a little bit unusual. It's certainly been quite an advantage over the years, I would say. Whenever I've got into a conversation, especially with the ladies. You into football? No, I don't like football. Really? Always went down well. Googled a napper yesterday. I was curious. Great to see Black Sea nearby. Yeah, Tony, it's just a lovely little resort, seaside resort. It's the equivalent of an English southeastern seaside town, like maybe, I don't know. I mean, we've got a water park and 2 or 3 big wheels and fair, you know, all year round fairgrounds and stuff. So it's like an English seaside resort should be if they spent the money, if that makes sense. Why you live in Russia if you're British? Good question. Came here on holiday against my, I won't say wishes, but certainly wasn't looking to come to Russia. So I'll flip you around so you're not staring at the door. You can stare at my ugly face. There you go. So came here. Wife wanted to come here. She had a flat here. We met in the UK. She was living in the UK. So it wasn't I met a Russian wife, moved to Russia. It was, you know, we were living in the UK, had every intention of staying in the UK. Russia wasn't a factor. But she had a flat here. And after quite a while, she sort of made some suggestions that we can come here for a holiday, which wasn't that keen on. You know, I knew what Russia was, and my regular viewers will know what's coming. Snow, bears, gangsters, vodka, and horse and cart. That was Russia, as far as I was concerned. It's what I've believed all my life. What on earth would I want to go there for? Backwards country, yeah, unsafe. Yeah, just didn't want to go there. Not interested. But I love my wife, as I've said many times, and it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to come and see, you know, the country she, you know, ultimately loves. So, kind of reluctantly, eventually I said, yeah, okay then, because she, you know, she made a valid point. It's a free holiday. We've got somewhere to stay. All we need is plane tickets. So, came here in October 21. I wasn't looking to leave the UK. I hadn't fallen out of love with the UK. I was disappointed with the direction that the UK had gone and had been going, but when you live with it every day, you don't notice it so much, do you? You know, it's a bit like watching your back garden decline. You don't necessarily notice it. Or, you know, your friends coming round when you get a new puppy. They come around 3 months later and go, oh my God, look at the size of the dog. And you go, really? Because you don't notice it. You're living with it every day. So when you're living with it every day, the decline over the last 3 or 4 decades, you don't notice. So, yeah, I came here. Like I say, hadn't fallen out of love with the UK, but came here and absolutely fell in love with Russia. Just spun my head, turned my world upside down. It is nothing like I had been led to believe all my life. Nothing even remotely close. Wonderful people. I mean, really wonderful. Keep themselves to themselves. Your initial reactions are it's quite you know, you're certainly my initial reaction was that it looked quite an unfriendly place. You know, high walls on most of the properties, big gates, you know, oh, blimey, is this high crime? You know, what is this? It's none of that. It's purely Russians are private people. They're not all about, you know, flashing their business to everybody and keeping up with the Joneses, and, you know, there's none of that. It's just a lovely place to live because nobody's, you know, looking down their nose at you going, oh, look at him, he's got a crap car, or, oh, he must be a drug dealer to have that car. There's none of that. There just isn't any of that. Nobody's, you know, the attitude here is if you're driving a nice car, nobody'd even bat an eyelid, to be honest. You know, first week I was here, I saw beautiful Rolls-Royce convertible, the new model at the time, and I was just, you know, head on a swivel going, wow, and I looked round and nobody else was. And I sort of went, did anybody notice that car? And they were like, no. And I said, oh, and I was banging on about this lovely teak-backed Rolls-Royce. And, you know, oh, that guy must be doing well. And they're like, yeah, he's done well for himself. And nobody bats an eyelid. Whereas in the UK, well, you can imagine there'd be 2 hours of conversation about it. So, yeah, that's really what happened. I just fell in love with the place in every way. And we haven't got enough hours in the day for me to tell you what's great and what's good here. It's easier if I say what's bad, and that's the price of cars. Apart from that, I've found everything better. Food, healthcare, people, attitude, crime, violence, road rage, 0. Homeless, 0. Unemployment, 0. The healthcare is amazing. You know, it makes the NHS really look embarrassing, and that's an understatement. You know, as I say, you know, I'm not trying to bash Britain. I'm just trying to give people an understanding of how much better Russia is than they will have thought. If you've never been to Russia and you're one of these people that listen to the news and bash Russia and think, you really need to go and give your head a wobble. Because if you haven't been to Russia in the last 5 years, you have no concept of this country and its people. None. 0. I promise you that. It is nothing like you think. Nothing. Love the colour of your kitchen. Thank you, Scarlett. The wells should switch to rugs and hard floors. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with underfloor heating, you don't need the rug. Even better. Bye, I have to go. Bye. Oh, no, I can stay. Hi. I had hardwood floors and rugs, so much cleaner. Yeah. We've got a little robot. Comes out and cleans the floor. Comes and hoovers and comes and mops. I subscribe to you. Thank you. Do you have a girlfriend? No, I have a wife. Love my wife. She's the reason I'm alive. That's why I love my wife. And that's not an exaggeration. Working in the UK, the high stress job that I was in, I wouldn't have lasted much longer. It would have killed me. So I credit my wife with saving my life. And now Putin is stretching out hand to those torn by the country's direction. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, as my video, I think I was the first, or certainly one of the first people to break that news on YouTube, about the new decree that has been signed in regarding entry to Russia. So there's somebody that subscribes to my channel who I've got to know, who is, I've got to credit him with giving me that information. He's a remarkable guy, very, very interesting guy. I'm really, really looking forward to meeting him at some point, because I think he's one of these guys that you'll be able to sit down for a couple of hours and have a really good conversation with. So yeah, he certainly gave me the information, and yeah, he's a good guy. My thought of Russia is just bad drivers. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true anywhere. Certainly Russians don't muck about. I think in the UK I was considered a very fast driver. Out here I'm probably one of the slowest. So they don't hang about. You know, they've got to get on. But certainly not the worst. The worst I've experienced is Sicily, and that is, you know, it's bumper car city. Everything is parked by touch. Don't think they bother with parking sensors. And if they did, nobody, you know, they'd hear the noise and go, what's that? Every car is smashed to bits in Sicily. road signs, I think, are just there to give people that make road signs a job, and then they give, obviously, the people that install the road signs a job. But, you know, maybe for visual effect, but nobody takes a blind bit of notice of any of them. And it's a bun fight, it's a free-for-all. But I enjoyed Sicily because I was there in a 10-ton truck. So, I won. Do you have work? Well, the wife likes to find me work. I like to try and avoid it. And then she likes to try and find ways in which I can do it. At the moment, I'm winning. And especially as I deliberately broke my toe yesterday. I mean, I accidentally broke my toe yesterday. I'm pleading and claiming invalidity. I remember back when the internet was the Wild West, watching Russian teens being vigilantes to driving sidewalks. Looking, yeah. I mean, Russia just isn't what it was. You know, and I think that's true of the world, really. You know, the West seems to have stagnated and been in decline for the last 3 or 4 decades, and the rest of the world seems to have been the opposite. I mean, look how far China has come over the last 3 decades. It's absolutely biblical. And I've got to tell you, if you come to Russia, it's the same here. This place is, under Putin, is not anything like the old Russia. Putin, you know, love him or hate him, regardless of your view of the man, you have to understand what he has done for Russia. That's undeniable. And I think if anybody is in denial about that and says, oh, he's ruined Russia, then they're just never, ever going to be a reasonable or rational person. Forget your politics, forget about, you know, your personal opinion of the man himself. What he has done for Russia is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. When we don't drink, we drive. Yeah, I mean, I think Ricky Gervais said it best, didn't he? Hasn't got a driving licence. He said, what's the point? Can't drink. Yeah. What country are you in? Russia? Does Russia encourage the use of herbal remedies, or do they push Big Pharma and the WHO narrative? Neither, that I'm aware of. Russia doesn't push anything. I know it might be a shocker, you know. Authoritarian regime, you're totally controlled, you're told what to do, how to think. Nah, load of crap. Complete load of rubbish. So no, there are doctors everywhere. Oh, if you want to see a doctor here in Russia, you just go and see a doctor. I mean, it's a way out concept, I know. But yeah, you go and see a doctor the same day. You might have to go the next day. If you want a blood test, it's the same day. And do you know when you get the results for that blood test? Yeah, bear with me. It's the same day. Yeah, as I said, the healthcare here is outstanding. And if there are Russians watching this, you need to understand that the healthcare here, compared to the UK, is absolutely phenomenal. Mother Russia. How warm does Russia get in its summer? So Russia has every climate that is available on the planet, from, you know, almost desert region, 50 plus degrees, to obviously everybody's heard of Siberia, and minus 50, minus 60 degrees, and everything in between. So really, and that's one thing I will say, if you're looking to come to Russia, if you've seen the new rules and you're all excited about jumping on a plane, just watch my video that says, you know, watch, I think it's moving to Russia or looking to move to Russia. Watch this first. Go and watch that, because the single most important thing before you start any kind of plans for coming to Russia is climate. Where you want to live, what kind of climate you want to live in. And I know that's not a consideration for a lot of people, but it absolutely has to be here in Russia. And I shall be covering that off in possibly a video or maybe a live stream with a collaboration. But absolutely critical. So watch that video. It is critical that you understand that. That's your first port of call. Country Acres has a video for you. Okay. But when we drink, we have horrible driving. Yeah, I might improve my driving. Russia is big. The question about temperature is incorrect. Okay. It directly answers that question of yours. I like your curtains. Thank you. Which ones? Those ones? Kind of go with the kitchen. And the splashback in the kitchen. I'll show you that. We don't have tiled splashback. We have glass, and it's printed glass, so it's easier if I do this, isn't it? Let's do that. There we go. So we've got cherry blossom, a nice sunset over the turquoisey sea and stones, and brilliant idea. So easy to keep clean, dead easy to install, dead easy to change. It's just held on with a couple of screws. 10,000 library images that you can choose from. You know, you can have coffee cups around it, you can have whatever you want, literally, and you can even use your own images. So brilliant. Haven't seen that in the UK, so there's a business opportunity for people in the UK. I actually did my own kitchen in the UK, and did exactly this, glass. I had glass made, and then I painted the back of the glass just a mono colour. Well, I painted it like a burnt orange with a silver pinstripe, sort of a silver pinstripe. And yeah, for the reason I've just outlined, really easy to clean, install, and just looks different from the usual tiled or plastic splashbacks. But yeah, that's really nice. There's a couple of boats there, look. Wonder where they're going. Yeah. I love your videos, thank you. The honey-do list info. Yeah, we call it just jobs. Just do this, just do that. Sorry you broke your toe. Yeah, I'm sorry I broke my toe. It's not my nose. I haven't upset anybody enough to get a punch on the nose yet. Those were the old days. I'm a good boy now. I think everyone's government has a bad stigma around them. It does not mean that people agree with it. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? If you want to see that graphically demonstrated, you need to come to Russia. In Britain, we're programmed to hate. You know, I can't put it any other way. We are. And you don't notice it when you live there. It's just normal life. You're just angry and snappy, and, you know, road rage is everywhere. Why? Because everybody's fed up and wound up. And, you know, the media does a fantastic job of rallying us all together to hate something. You know, is it the French this week, or the Germans, or the Greeks, or the Italians, or so? You know, it's immigrants at the moment. You know, we're just programmed. You've got to hate these particular group of people, or this creed, or this colour, or this race, or whatever. You know, the media is fantastic at producing a headline. French fishermen cause travel chaos for Brits. You know, air traffic control on strike, causing chaos at holiday destination. Poor Brits stranded at you know the score. And we're just programmed to hate, you know, and as soon as the media, I mean, let's face it, the current conflict, 2.5 years ago, gotta hate Russia. 3 years ago, nobody hated Russia. Nobody knew where Ukraine was. Nobody knew what country Ukraine was. Didn't have a clue. 3 years ago, had no clue. 2.5 years ago, Russia, the most evil country in the world, and everybody has got a Ukrainian flag flying in their front garden. How many Ukrainian flags do you see flying at the moment? What's happened to them? And why is that? Just asking. But yeah, Russians do not think the way we do. It is a different, completely different mindset out here. Russians aren't sheep. They have their own minds. They use them. They're very intelligent, most of the Russians I've spoken to. They're very knowledgeable. They're very clued up on world affairs. They take great interest in what's going on. Guess what? The media's not censored out here. So we see the BBC, we see BBC News reporting Russian TV, we see CNN reporting, we see presidential debates, we see all the things in the West that you don't see about Russia. Why is that? That's the authoritarian state that Russia is. Yeah, right. But yeah, Russians aren't like that. They make the distinction between a government and its people. And they understand that just because the government might be crap, it doesn't necessarily mean that the people are. And that I found truly humbling when I first came here. That was, a few times brought to tears, because I came here and then obviously, the current situation erupted, the conflict erupted, and I came here with a British mindset. Oh my God, I'm going to have to be very careful about what I say, because, what's going to happen to me? Because that's our mindset, let's face it. How are Russians getting on in the UK at the moment? Are they having an easy time, do you think? No. Sure, it's a bit easier now that people have realised they've been brainwashed, or a lot of people have realised they've been brainwashed. Not everyone. There's still a lot of people waving a flag and shouting from the rooftops. Putin bad. Putin done it, remember? Whatever it is, Putin done it. I've got to meet this guy. I know he just looks like a normal guy on the TV, but I don't, and this might come as a shock. He's actually 200 feet tall. He's actually made of solid titanium that morphs into different shapes. He's completely invincible, completely indestructible. Breathes fire, spits lightning, and can teleport anywhere in the world. People don't realise that. The West, they bang on about their tanks and stuff. Yeah, you don't realise. That's Vladimir Putin. That's how he is able to be responsible for everything that goes wrong in the world. He's almost like God, but like the bad version. Yeah, right. How are you doing so far today? Yeah, I'm hobbling around with my broken toe, which I snapped yesterday, like a little twiggy. I heard it snap as well. It's quite interesting. I thought, yeah, that's buggered. Especially in Moscow, healthcare here is great. Yeah, it is. Sorry, I've just caught up with that. It is absolutely phenomenal. Oh my God, that's my favourite colour. What, me? Thank you. Got a story for that split lip of yours. Not one I'm going to share on here. Konstantin made a video showing a babushka with no TV or radio who knows more about ukulele land than most Americans. Yeah, indeed. Russians are educated about the world, not like us Brits. We're controlled, and it's not our fault. We live on an island. We're a captured audience, and we get spoon-fed a narrative. And when they shut down all other forms of media other than the controlled ones that they want to give you, what are you supposed to do? Shouts everybody that doesn't know any better. I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get off your lazy ass and spend 10 or 15 minutes a day actually researching, going on the internet and looking, finding out the information. You're supposed to question everything. If you just take what is told to you and swallow it, you're a fool. Sorry, but you need to question everything. In this day and age, I've learnt that. I was one of the fools. I was one of the sheep. But I had an awakening, and I hope everybody that watches my channel does the same and starts looking into the reality and the truth about not just this country, but the world that we live in. Ripple, what are you doing? Yes, the cat's called Ripple. She had no phone, no electricity either. Yeah. I have offered to take my youngest to Moscow, but she's fresh out of uni, so you know, got, yeah. Back of the hand, yeah. Yeah, very true, Tony, unfortunately. We've just got to get people just asking questions. You know, I'm not. This isn't a propaganda channel. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not trying to change people's opinions. We just need people to ask questions. What's wrong with asking a question? What's wrong with somebody telling you something on the TV and you questioning that? How is that wrong? It's not. You should be able to do that. Live in the cat's world. Abel, I cannot get anyone to come with me for a visit. No, that's because of the brainwash. 3 years ago, Tony, you would have been able to. But it's the brainwashing that has been done. I don't want to call it brainwashing. That's not fair. That's very easy to use the cliche term. It's the controlling that Western media has done, that has controlled the narrative. Where if you're only given one side of a story, what story do you know? You know the version that you're given. That's why we're brought up to ask questions. We're brought up to never, ever take one side of a story. You should always have the full picture. That's what we're taught. Yet we don't do it. Need to get my passport. Ah, Chance Superior. Nice for you to join us. I would say good morning, but it's afternoon, isn't it? Well, it nearly is. It's 11:15 here. Oh, I don't know. I've been up a while. Only some of us were brought up that way, Chris. Yeah, I was brought up old school. But even the way I was brought up, I still, you live in Britain, and even me, I travelled all across Europe, but still came back to Britain, stepping into the same narrative. But when you leave a country for a week or 2 weeks on holiday, or be glad to get home. I miss my Marmite, I miss my English breakfast, I miss fish and chips or some other rubbish, and that's your mindset. But when you actually leave a country for a decent amount of time and look back in, you start to see it from a different perspective, and that's what it's all about. It's perspective, isn't it? Yeah, getting prepped for Mpox now. Yeah, of course. Yeah, got to keep you scared. Can't control you unless you're scared. Yes, this is the new one. An Egyptian male. It sleeps a lot, but it's usually sleeping in the food bowl. Its favourite pastime is eating. I dread to think how big it's going to get. But the minute it starts looking at me funny, it's going. I do not want to come home and find big holes in the garden where it's sat there with a tape measure measuring me up. But yeah, the damn thing just eats. But it's kind of cute. It's got little Cleopatra eyes. See if we can get a close up. So we've got an M on the forehead there, which denotes the breed, and then you've got the black lines coming off of the eyes, as you can see. So it's one of the characteristics. M for man alive, that thing eats food. Yeah, cute. It's like a ringtail lemur, isn't it? Runs like one. Probably runs like me at the moment. All gangly with legs going everywhere. Great word for this is sheeple. Yeah. Everyone prayed for benevolent kings and queens. Well, if you look at my profile picture, there's a bloody great ark that's painted red, white and blue. Well, it's 3 a.m. here. Wow, I'm so glad I came across you. I have a blessed day, my new friend. Thank you, Layla. That's really good of you. Really appreciate that. And 3 a.m, you are hardcore. Well done. Good effort. Anybody want to ask anything? We've obviously got new laws, which is why Russia is the buzzword at the moment. Lots of people, I think, wanting to escape. Oh, here's another inhabitant. Look. This is Rosie the Bengal. Hey, Roro. Meow. Meow. Yeah, I talk cattish. I speak lots of languages. I think I speak 5 languages actually, plus Cattish. Yeah, English, Scottish, American, Australian, and Scouse. Let's add that in. It's a separate language, isn't it? They do, don't they? Yeah, anybody got any questions? What do you want to know about Russia? There's a lot of people looking up Russia, trying to understand what's going on. It's not going to be as simple as jumping on a plane and moving here. There's a lot to take in. There's a lot to understand. Please feel free to join my Telegram group and ask questions. Please feel free to send me an email, link in the description of my channel. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Please help it grow. It's growing very well. It's expanding every day. I think more and more people are genuinely interested in Russia. And certainly for me, without sort of trying to blow my own trumpet, at the moment, although I think that's going to change, I'm one of the few people living in the south of Russia. Most people from the UK, America, Canada, etc., head straight to Moscow and end up there, whether it's through work or just because, you know, they believe that's Russia. And Moscow is a very attractive city, and I think a lot of people end up there and just are blown away and may never leave. But Russia is a big place, and it isn't just Moscow. There's a lot more to Russia than Moscow, an awful lot more to Russia than Moscow. So I'm in the south. I'm in a wine region, wine and champagne region, just up the road from a wine and champagne producer called Abral d'Urso. I did a series of videos from Abral d'Urso talking about the wine and the champagne, showing you in a very raw video, because all of my videos are raw. They're not glossed up, they're not edited and all pretty overlays and everything else. They're just me wandering around with the phone. But you get a real version. You don't get a cleaned up, airbrushed image. What you see is what you get. So hopefully that's a good thing. It seems to be the feedback I've had. People like it, even though it isn't necessarily pleasing on the eyes at times. You do know that it's real and it's not fake. And the guy behind the camera ain't fake, I can tell you that. I am a man of my principles and my word. So, yeah, please have a look at my videos from Abral d'Urso. There is another YouTuber that has just done a video from my region, from Abral d'Urso. So, feel free to look at his video. But like I say, I've done 5 videos on that series at the moment. I've called it From Grape to Glass. First one was stood in one of Abral d'Urso vineyards next to the grapes. Purpose of the videos really was just to show you the process going from the grape through the manufacturing process, the manufacturing plant, to the bottles, to the shops, and then the last video will be from my local retail outlet, where I've already spoken to them before I started the videos about coming in there and filming for the last part. So that'll be the last video in that series. We've got another little series started, which is what you're hearing this morning, the hammering upstairs. So that's the rebuild of the house. Feels like a rebuild. It's not, but it bloody feels like it. I've also got another video series going on at the moment, which is the sauna build. And I've got plans for new videos. I much prefer to do live streams. I like the interaction with people. I like to get people on asking questions, because I want to be able to help people come to Russia, or certainly understand Russia, and certainly question what they believe, you know, what they've been told, what they think is accurate. And that I hope you can do. You know, if you see something in the news and you think, does that make sense? Come and ask. That's what we're here for. That's all I'm trying to do. This isn't propaganda. I'm not a Putin puppet. Love that saying. Absolute monkey. I've never met the man. No idea. I've been called a Putin propagandist, a paid Putin propagandist. Well, I'm still waiting for the checks. So, if I'm on the payroll, somebody owes me a lot of money. No, I'm just a guy that has come and fallen in love with this country, fallen in love with a woman in the UK who happened to be able to direct me to this country, and yeah, it's the best thing that's happened to me. So please, join the live stream whenever you see one. Ask anything you want. Join my Telegram group, ask anything you want. Send me an email, ask anything you want. No such thing as a stupid question, but you might get a stupid answer, so be warned. Cattish, yeah. I'm local, just wondering how do you survive this bloody summer? It was extremely hot. You're local? JC, how local is local? Because local in the UK means the next street. Local in Russia can be 500 kilometres away, because it's a big place. And how do I survive the summer here? With the hoofing great swimming pool we got in the back garden and the air conditioning units. I left the wine and liquor distribution world. The snobbery around wine is a joke to me. Yes, absolutely. It is, especially when you come here and people aren't like that. You know, I will have ice cubes in my red wine. Why? Because I like it that way. In Britain, if you did that in a restaurant, people would be staring at you going, oh my God. Here, why? If you want to enjoy it, just drink it how you want. It's another thing with Russians. They don't care about rubbish, about nonsense. Not interested in it. Just, you know, somebody driving particularly badly, somebody might cut you up. In the UK, oh yeah, you'll be having a punch up at the next set of traffic lights. Here in Russia, it's not even a concern. I've never seen any violence since I've been here. Not even road rage, nothing, not a thing. Promise you that, nothing. So, you know, just for that alone, think about that. It's hard not to sound like one. All you can say is people need to find out for themselves. Yeah, they do. Man, bear, pig. God, that's nearly me. Z. A lot of people waiting. A lot of people waiting for me to say something interesting. Me to get better looking. No chance of that. He's not a Rusky Bear yet. No, he's not. But he has started to understand what they call the Russian soul. These people are different, as I say, as often as I can. If you have a British mentality, these people are different. You will take some time to understand it. They say what they mean and they mean what they say. There's no fakeness here. There's no falseness here. They won't say something to your face and then as soon as your back's turned, slag you off. They'll just tell you to your face. It's a completely different mentality here. You know, they won't blow smoke up your arse and dance around going, oh, yeah, oh, you've painted the wall. Oh, it's fantastic. It's wonderful. You know, they come around and you say, you've painted the wall. And they go, oh, yeah, that's nice. And they'll move on. It's just, you know, there's just no fakeness. There's no falseness. That's the easiest way to describe it. MI6. Well, if I am, I've got to be owed a lot of money by now. Surely. What did you mean by the carnage begins in your title? Yeah, the terrace being battered. Our terrace is being dug up. So our roof terrace. So we've got a terrace 12 metres long, 4 metres wide. And then it wraps around the back of the house. And that's, I think, 4 metres wide, 4 metres deep and 7 or 8 metres across. So huge wraparound terrace. Which has got a bit of a leak, and they've decided the best course of action is just to rip it up. So the carnage begins. It's going to be a building site again. So it's not stopped being a building site, to be fair. Since we signed the paperwork in October 21, it hasn't stopped being a building site. So it's a work in progress. The long history of MI6 and the state of the world is interesting. Sure. Oh, a lot of people are waiting. Yeah, for a check from Putin. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, everybody's a Putin propagandist unless you agree with the Western narrative, which is absolute load of rubbish. You know, think back over the last 2.5 years. What have you seen in the news that has borne out to be true? I mean, you might be turning around saying everything. It's all true. If you are, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. You're delusional. Absolutely delusional. But what happens is the media will produce a headline, get everybody whipped up into a frenzy. The truth will then come out a week or two later, destroy that headline. They'll say nothing. They won't correct it. They'll move on to the next headline. And that's what happens. Rinse and repeat. I'm from Krasnodar, so no worries, mate. I'm not so local, I guess, in your terms. No, you're 2 hours up the road. 2 hours up the road. So, yeah, that's, fairly local. Do like Krasnodar, but hot. I can understand why you say it's hot. See, that's why you need to be down here. We've got a nice breeze all the time. It's nice and constant. It's lovely. But you've got Galitsky Park, and there's a lot of water features there, so I expect you spend a lot of time there. And you've got the central part, I would call it a park, but it's not really, is it? It's in the central walkway, I suppose. Got some restaurants there and some little water features and stuff. I've done a couple of videos from Krasnodar. Really, really lovely city. Very, very nice. Nice shopping centre. Although some idiot tried to get out of the car park quicker than anybody else recently, didn't they? 001/7. Yeah. Okay. Definitely not quite James Bond. If you watch CNN and BBC, yeah, if you do, if you watch CNN and BBC and Sky News, and you are religious in watching that, and you believe what comes out of that, then I don't think there's any help. I don't think there's any hope for you. What can I say? You've got to expand your mind. Go and find some info. If all you do is come home from work, turn on the TV, select news as an option and believe you're getting the news, no good. It's not news, it is propaganda, it is one-sided reporting. The problem with RT is it was people who still believe the narrative for the last 40 years. Yeah. Ghost of Kiev was true. Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. Ghost of Kiev was true. So was Russian tank running over a car, deliberately crushing its occupants. That was Russian soldiers in the tank. Do you remember that? Turned out to be a Ukrainian who was pissed, who jumped into a 40-year-old tank and decided to go on a little bit of a joyride. What about the Russian airplane that you saw the video of where it fires 2 missiles into an apartment building? Yeah, well, that was a 30-second clip of 2 videos edited together. The whole video is about 2 minutes long, and the actual missile that destroyed the apartment building came from a ground-based launcher, which was currently in Ukraine at the time, so it couldn't have been a Russian one, could it? Oh, I could go on, honestly. I really could. The amount of stuff I've seen over the last 2.5 years, I could go on and on and on. All I say is just question everything. Go and do some homework. If it sounds stupid, question it. And even if you initially think, oh, yeah, that's bad, that sounds real, question it. Baby Bond. I'd like to be a baby again. Christ. I think we do regress, though, don't we? As you get older, you turn back into a baby. Which Sam video? Throw me a bone here, man. About what? I've forgotten the chat. Goldfish. Swim round a bowl. All new. All new. All new. See? That's what happens. I have the info battle every day. I always say my news. Yeah, it's just one-sided narrative, isn't it? If you're not given the whole picture, you know, if somebody comes up to you and says, this bloke's been horrible and he's done this and that, and you don't go and ask any questions, you just act on that, what are you? Yeah, you've got to ask the questions. Goes to Kiev. Joyride. See, again, you guys are way ahead of me. Got to remember, I'm an idiot. So if you just put one word and think that I'm going to remember several words or several lines up what that relates to. No, I ain't. Joyride, question mark. You have to expand on that, mate, I'm afraid. The Poland train station missile got derailed quickly. Yeah, funny that, isn't it? Yeah. As soon as the camera work on the missile itself showed the serial number, and all missiles produced in Russia have serial numbers, and they're all logged. And that missile was a Ukrainian missile. You've got to remember that Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union, one and the same. So any missiles produced in that Soviet era could easily be in Ukraine, and that particular missile was logged as being Ukrainian from its birth, from its creation. So yeah. I watched some dead bodies get up once. They thought it was a rat. Yeah, I've seen that 20 times. Butcher is a good example of that. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of those bodies are real bodies, and they were laid out for the Western media, and we've seen, you know, all of the narrative around that. But at the time, Russia has just gone into a town and slaughtered a load of civilians. I'll tell you now, if that had ever happened the way that the media had said, those soldiers would be in prison, if not executed. I'm not suggesting for a minute that Russia is squeaky clean and doesn't have criminals and no laws are broken. I'm not suggesting that for a minute. But what I am telling you is that there are laws here and they are enforced. So things like drugs. Are there drugs in Russia? Of course there are. There are drugs in every country. The difference is here, if you're caught with them or you're caught dealing them, there's a sentence and it will be enforced. You will not be going to court and being told you're a very naughty boy, but because you're wearing or waving a certain coloured flag, oh, can't do anything with you. Diversity, equity and inclusion. DEI, you've got to remember, it's very prominent in the West. I think DEI stands for inclusion. I think it's division. I can't remember. I did write it down because I thought it was quite funny. It's not. Don't worry, it's not worth waiting for. Ciao, Chris. We need more channel like yours. Western media are a joke. Marco, thank you. And good morning to you, sir. Ciao, ciao. Or buongiorno. I did learn some Italian because I was involved with Italian race teams. They were absolutely epic. I love the way you guys love espresso coffee. When we raced in Sicily, the Aprilia factory racing team, the guys were brilliant. We got on really well with them. And a lot of the race teams, TM race team. And yeah, just I love the Italian approach for racing. You know, we actually raced in the French Alps, Alpe d'Huez. And I was there early, and one of the first teams there was the Aprilia factory team. And they turned up with probably half a dozen lorries and vehicles, etc. And they opened up this massive Arctic lorry, opened up the back doors, and attached to the back doors was a huge espresso machine. Proper job, you know, the sort of thing you see in a restaurant. And the first thing these guys did was get the boxes out for the coffee, the sugar, found the water, and got the espressos going. First thing, forget the bikes, forget all the equipment. No, let's get the coffee going. Yeah, brilliant. And after racing, oh, it's awesome. We used to go, you know, you'd finish racing, you go into the awning, you know, whilst the last race is on, or just prior, you know, just about to start, and the women would be setting up the awning, clearing up, tidying up, getting the tables ready, getting the food out, the meat, the cheese, and dinner was an all-night affair, you know. It wouldn't be sit down, stuff it down your face as fast as we can like we do in the UK, and then go to bed. It would be sit down, get cleaned up after racing, sit down and just have a great evening, chatting, carving off lumps of grana padano, which is my absolute all-time favourite thing to eat ever, or as the Italians call it, rocket fuel. And yeah, sitting carving up lumps of grana padano and different meats, salamis, etc., and just having a lovely drawn out 6 or 7 hour evening, you know, with some wine. And yeah, it's lovely because you never felt like you've stuffed your belly and you're over full. And it was just a lovely way to spend the evening, and I missed that. It was good. Did used to enjoy the Italian race teams. But lovely to see you, Marco. People, if you want to see what London is like, Marco live streams every day from the capital, London. Wandering the streets, very similar to me, phone in hand. What you see is what you get. So subscribe to his channel, Italiano in Gran Bretagna. Lovely, lovely guy, and you will see all different sites around London. Not just London, because he gets about as well. He was in Edinburgh. So he is a bit of a jet setter. I think Marco's got a private jet as well. Is that right, Marco? Little tidbit, a small amount. A lot of Ukrainians came to Russia, an awful lot. There's a lot in Anapa. There's a lot in most towns. I think Anapa accepted something like 2,000 refugees from Ukraine. Division, exclusion, and insanity. That's what it was. Thank you, Furby. Division, exclusion, and insanity. That was my DEI. Thank you, Chris. Your accent is perfect. Should be my accident is perfect. Look what I did yesterday, Marco. I broke my toe, man. So I'm hobbling around. It's going a nice shade of blue all the way around here now, in the toe. But the little wiggler, yeah, it's snapped off sideways. So it's reasonably uncomfortable. Feet pics, yeah. Oh yeah, I heard it snap as well. Sounded like a twig. Sorry to hit. It's not my first rodeo, Marco. Don't worry. What's the weather like in London? Is it good? That's the breaking toe though. I've mangled my little piggies. Yeah. Well, I used to kickbox many. You wouldn't believe it now, look. It's not a kickboxing physique anymore, is it? But I did for quite a long time, many years ago. And, yeah, perks of the job. Breaking things. Feet only in OnlyFans, Chris. Nobody's going to pay money to see my feet, mate. 23 degrees. Oh, God. So it's winter now, yeah? 23 degrees. Ooh. I reckon I'll be wearing a jumper now. 23 degrees. I've got so acclimatised to the weather out here. The first time I came here, I thought, yeah, we came in October and I was wandering around in shorts and a T-shirt. The locals walking around in coats, clearly, looking at me like I was a nutcase. But it was warm, because it was about 21, 22 degrees. Now, anything below 27, 28 degrees feels kind of cold. Just got used to it. Same with the pool. I was in the pool. I think it was something like 18 degrees when I first went in the pool. We jumped in our friend's swimming pool and that was 11 degrees after sauna, but that's just a bit of a one-off. But I think I was in the pool when it was about 18 degrees. Now the thought of that, no, that pool's getting closed this winter. Whereas last winter it was open all the time. This winter, nah, I'm just going to shut it down for 3 months. Because the minute it goes below 23 degrees, no, not going in it, no. Hence the wife wants you to walk more. Yeah, walk bastard. Do people talk much about Kursk? No, is the honest answer. It's I mean, I'm not sitting in a local restaurant night after night listening to a conversation. I can tell you what I've heard and what we see, and it will be a different version to the West. Tell you that now. So, you know, Western version is, well, they're coming out of all sorts of stories at the moment, aren't they? They can't seem to get the story straight for why and how and what this is going to achieve. The actual reality is that it was an attempt at seizing either control of the nuclear power station at Kursk or getting within range to be able to shell it. That was the goal of the mission. They will never admit that, because obviously there will be global uproar at the attempt of seizing a nuclear power station, and that's all full denial, but that was the goal, because there's nothing else there. So, you know, what are you going to do? And they've seized territory. What have they seized? Some fields, bit of forest, some tiny little outlets, you know, some little tiny weeny little villages, population of a couple of dozen. What have they seized? Where are they going? What's the goal? They're going to transform the war by doing what? From there. Because they ain't going any further. You know, what's the latest narrative? Creating a buffer zone in Russian territory. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Yeah, that'll work. I can just see that happening. All that's happening is they've gone as far as they're going. They ain't going any further. Doesn't matter how much they flood into the area. Whatever they put into that area now will be destroyed, whether it's people or equipment or both. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be on that side, be told a narrative, you know, we've got the Russians on the run and we can defeat them and we need to push through, and they'll be told glory, you know, and all the rest of it, and they'll be sent to their deaths. And it's absolutely criminal, and these people that are behind that will answer one day, in this life or the next. But yeah, you know, that situation is being dealt with, I guess. It's just going to be unpleasant for a while. Should it have happened? No. Was it a mistake? Did Russia take its eye off the ball for a bit? I think it was more a case of believing that maybe there was some honesty about not doing that kind of thing. And as they found out that that's not the case, there is no honesty. Can't talk to people that aren't honest. Weather in London is nice. It's not as nice as here. Yeah, the Duran talk about Kursk. That, Tony, that is a good shout. People go and follow a channel on YouTube called The Duran. The two guys on it talk an awful lot of sense. They break down the media and government noise, and they break it down into reality. They take it on face value, and then they actually break it down and give you the real version. Brilliant channel. Two guys are Alex Christoforou and Alexander Mercouris. They've both got their own individual channels as well, so follow them as well, and you will get daily blow-by-blow breakdown of the latest news from the region. Solid info, thank you. Did not know about the reactors. Yeah, yeah, funny that. Same as the Zaporizhzhia one. Yeah, Kursk is the new spin. Yeah, of course it is. It will achieve absolutely nothing. All it will achieve is a lot of dead Ukrainians. That's what it will achieve. Some Russian civilians have been terrorised. For what? And why? You know, some of the videos I've seen. Ukrainian soldiers going into a village, firing grenades off the bottom of their guns into a house that they haven't cleared. They've just come across and just fired grenades into it. No understanding of who's inside. And then going in and checking afterwards. And then going and kicking doors down of other buildings. And do you know what? I won't do it. I'm not going to get into this. Because some of the stuff I've seen, and I'm not talking about Kursk, I'm talking about over the last 2.5 years, I wish I'd never seen. Because the memories I have of some of the things I've seen you can't unsee, and I will never describe them because you don't want it in your head. I promise you, you don't. Have you had a lot of people contact you since Putin's decree? Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think, as I said at the beginning of this, I think I was the first, if not one of the first people to break the news on YouTube. Obviously, I'm just a very small, raw channel, and there's lots of people now making lovely, glossy, fancy videos about that decree, some with some information, some with wrong information, some with, you know, fairly detailed information. But yeah, you know, I'm quite happy to say that I was one of the first people to stick it on the YouTube. So yeah, I have had a lot of people contact me. Cursed move makes new wave of contractors joining Russian military. Yeah, I mean, people need to understand that between 1,000 and 1,500 people a day are signing up to join the military in Russia. That's not forced conscription. That's, you know, recruiting pop-up shops. You know, there was one in Napa recently, a little pop-up tent, recruiting to join the military. And I'll tell you now, there was a queue. There was a queue there for people signing up. So it isn't forced conscription here in Russia. And this is what the West doesn't understand. They don't understand Russians. They really don't. And if they think they can defeat Russia, delusional. Delusional. Many people in history have thought they can defeat Russia. They have all found out they were wrong. The Duran is one of the best analytical skills, and with two great guys. Yeah, absolutely it is. Duran is great. Yeah, I'm glad people are aware of it. You know, it's a great channel, and channels like that really do make all the difference. Well, not all the difference, but certainly go a long way to giving people... Do you know what? What it needs to give people is that moment of clarity in their head where they go, is that true? That doesn't sound right. I wonder if I can get more information on that. It's that moment of, I need to question this, as opposed to, oh, this is true, and just regurgitating. The amount of people... I got banned from Twitter because I constantly got into bum fights with brain-dead morons that would tell me about Russia, and every time, every single time, when I asked them when were they last in Russia or in Ukraine, dead, over, conversation over. Oh, I've never been to Russia. What the hell do you know about Russia then, if you've never been? What do you know about Russia, other than what the media's told you? Yeah. So, I think if somebody's telling you about Russia, ask them when they were last in Russia, whereabouts in Russia, how long they were there. Bet you get some great answers. Russia is ancient. It is indeed. Correct. Historically, it cannot be truly defeated. Yeah. Largest country in the world. And every single Russian understands conflict and understands what war means, truly means. And you will not get that if you haven't been to this country. You just won't understand. You just won't. I'm sorry, you won't. You will not understand what it means to Russians. They've all been touched by loss. Every family in Russia has been touched by loss through a war in one way, shape or form. So if you think it doesn't matter to these people, if you think that they're just going to curl up and roll over, nah, sorry. You are living in a fantasy. You are living in a media fantasy. These people aren't like Brits or Americans. They're not woke. They don't go screaming around and crying. They just do. And they're a different breed. You can feel it when you speak to Russians or you're around Russians. You can feel that these people are a different breed. So, anyhow, I digress. Looks like I've caught up with the chat, so that's good. Hopefully I've answered some questions. Hopefully I've made you think about some stuff, maybe. Don't know. But as I said, I was trying to end this stream about half an hour ago, I think. Please feel free to ask me anything you want. Send me an email, send me a message on Telegram, join my Telegram group. Look out for my live streams. Get your questions ready. And I plan to do a live stream one evening this week. I'm talking with Sam at the moment from Sam's Russian Adventures, so maybe we'll put something together. But we'll see. But yeah, I want to compile some information, some stuff, and then be able to do a stream about the current decree and various other things. I watched Alex Duran walk around Moscow. Looked like a Sunday morning walk. Now I have to go there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was, I think, an eye-opener for a lot of people. He was walking around on camera speaking English in Russia. Did you see him get attacked? See him get verbally abused? I saw him have a few conversations with Russians who spoke to him in English. Would that happen in the UK? If a Russian was wandering around the shops with a camera? Nah, there'd be some moron thinking he knows about the conflict, or thinking he understands Russia or whatever. He'll have read the latest newspaper, probably the Telegraph. Yeah. The only reason newspapers still exist after the creation of TV is you can't swat a fly with a television. That's the only reason newspapers still exist. All that, and for lighting barbecues. My mum and dad are interested in moving now, Chris. You know where I am, sweetheart? Yeah, so anyhow, that's me winding up, saying goodbye. Adios, amigos. Dos vidania. Bon voyage. Ciao, ciao. Arrivederci. What's German? I'm used to Schuss, which is a little bit too friendly in German. German is Auf Wiedersehen. God, there we go. What else can I show off about? Absolutely bugger all. So I'm going to go. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. Sharing is most important. Sharing is caring. Always remember that. And join me in the next stream. Watch some of my videos. And as I always say, see you in the next one.